Hey, Mike Clark here for the Pro Recording Workshop. Today we're going to be talking about the Workspace Browser. Basically, the Workspace Browser is a media manager that's built into your Pro Tools session. So let's take a look at it here. I have a blank Pro Tools session open right now, as you can see. And let's go to our Windows menu, and you can access your Workspace Browser from here. So this is what the window looks like. Basically, it's a portal into all your hard drives, or what they call volumes, on your computer. I have my main Mac hard drive here and also an outboard Pro Tools drive. I have all my Pro Tools files stored on there. To the right of that, you'll see what's called your volume designator selector. A lot of times people will hook a drive up to their Pro Tools system and they're not able to record on it. This is a reason why you need to know about your Workspace Browser, because this is where you set your designator for your particular hard drive. If you click on it, you'll notice you have some choices. You can either set it for transfer, playback, or record and playback. So if you can't record on a particular drive, you might want to open your Workspace Browser and check this out and make sure this is set correctly. To the right of that, there's all kinds of different information on your drive, your capacity, your date indexed, and whatnot. Over here we have our disclosure triangles. If you click on that, obviously it opens up and you can see all the different folders and files you have in your particular drive. If you want a quick way to search, if you hit this little magnifier up here, you can type in the name of the file you're looking for and it'll search it that way also. These are also zoomer tools over here. Now, if you're an artist that really likes to use a lot of loops for either composition or just basic song ideas, the Workspace Browser is an incredible tool for that. Let me give you a little demo here how it works out. So first of all, you should want to set up your Pro Tools session for working with loops. So make sure you're in grid mode. And also have your transport window up on the screen up here, and you'll see why in a second. So let's go to our Workspace Browser, open that up, and I have a folder of Pro Tools loops here that we'll be using. Let's do a little hip hop today. So you'll notice these are filed by genre. So I'm going to start with the drum track here, and let's do some East Coast stuff today. So you'll notice I have all kinds of loops in here, okay? And Pro Tools breaks them down by how they're written. This one's 80 beats per minute, has the name of the track. And you'll notice over here it has a little speaker. You can actually audition the loop that's selected. Give it a little listen here. Cool, so all you have to do is hit that speaker and you'll be able to hear the loop that's going on. You can go right down the line, listen to a few different ones. So I like that first one. So first of all, what you want to do is once you find a loop that you want to use in your Pro Tools session, all you have to do is drag it to your desktop, like so. And you're going to get this message, import original tempo from file. Now, Pro Tools defaults to 120 beats per minute when you open a blank Pro Tools session. And you'll notice that this particular loop is written at 80 beats per minute, okay? And that's what we've been listening to. So I like the groove on that. Typically, if you pick out a loop, you're going to want to use that groove. So we're going to import that loop at that tempo. So you'll notice now our Pro Tools session is at 80 beats per minute. That's where that loop is written at. And here's our loop right here, right on our desktop. Creates a track for it. It's kind of cool. Nice. So what we'll do is we'll select that and duplicate it a few times so we have something to work with. Command D. We'll duplicate that. We'll get a couple minutes of loops there. Okay. And let's go back to our Workspace Browser. The cool thing about this is now we can actually add some other tracks to this and audition them inside the Workspace Browser without dragging them to our desktop. So let's grab some, let's look for some bass here. Let's go with some synth bass on this maybe. Again, here's a bunch of bass loops that are written. Now this is where the power of the Workspace Browser comes in. You notice these settings up here, okay? Basically what this does is it'll turn these loops into elastic audio or Rex files or acidized files, sometimes they're called, that'll actually play back at the tempo of the Pro Tools session that's selected. So that's why we needed our transport window up here, because our transport window is going to run our transport of our Pro Tools session. And the way I have this set up right now is our space bar will start and stop our loop that's in our Workspace Browser. You can set that up and customize that by right-clicking on this little speaker up here. You can either loop your preview, auto preview, or spacebar toggle file preview, which is what I usually keep it at. So if we audition a loop against our Pro Tools session, let's try this one right here. So it's way out of time, right? And the reason for that is, obviously, this one's playing back at 70 beats per minute. Our Pro Tools session is at 80 beats per minute. So that's where this elastic audio feature comes in handy in the Workspace browser. If you select this little metronome right here, what this is going to do is it's going to turn this loop into elastic audio and stretch it to the tempo that our Pro Tools session is playing at. Now you'll notice there's also a selector to the right here. It has different algorithms that go along with the elastic audio feature. Polyphonic usually works well for everything. We'll get into that further when I do a tutorial on elastic audio, which is an incredibly powerful feature. Now, one other thing, if you notice over here, we also have a volume control that's going to control the volume of the playback of our loop inside the Workspace browser. So remember, this transport's going to run our Pro Tools session here. So we're going to go back to the front of the session. We'll put it into play. And now we can audition some bass parts against it. Just click on the little speaker. So you'll notice the loop also waits for the downbeat. So it'll wait for the downbeat and start playing right in time with your drum track. Okay, very cool feature. So I mean, you can go down and audition as many different loops as you want. Try this one out. So any of these loops you try are going to sync right up with your Pro Tools session. Now keep this in mind though. You always want to try to audition a loop that's written around the same tempo as your drum track is or your Pro Tools session is. Because if, say, your Pro Tools session is 80 beats per minute and you're trying to load in a 156 beat per minute loop, it's going to have to stretch the audio so much you're going to get some artifacts that aren't very pleasing sonically. So let's go ahead and maybe load this bass track in right here. I like this. So again, just drag your loop right in there. And now we should have a bass loop in there, and we do right there. So you can take and move these around anywhere you want. Again, we'll duplicate this a little bit. So we have some bass in there. Let's get that snugged up to the grid. Again, you always want to make sure when you're dealing with loops that they're right on the grid, or else you're going to run into some drifting issues. So let's go ahead and select that and duplicate it. And that should work out for us. So now we got a bass track in there. Nice. So you can just continue composing that way. You know, if you wanted to throw, I don't know, maybe a piano in there. So we're going to stay right in the hip hop vein here. Go down to some piano. I don't know. Here's one I already auditioned. So, let's try that out. Again, rewind your Pro Tools session. Put it into play. If you want to adjust the volume of your piano, you go up here. Just adjust that. That works out well. So let's drag that one in. Duplicate that a few times. And you can start to arrange your track any way you want. Say you didn't want the bass to come in, just delete that loop. Let the beat set up a little bit. Now let's throw in one other thing in here. Maybe throw a little percussion in there or something. So see how fast it is building and auditioning tracks within the Workspace browser here. Now let's throw a little percussion on there. Where is it here? Here we go. You can see I've been auditioning some here. Just make sure your metronome is selected up here. That way it's going to play right in time. Nice, like that. Drag that in there. Very cool. So now, see how fast it is to build a working track right inside Pro Tools using the Workspace browser. All the auditioning is done right in there. It creates elastic audio, so all your loops play in time. Yeah, let's give it a listen here. Nice. So that gives you an idea how powerful the Workspace browser is for auditioning and writing with loops. Of course, if you're doing voiceover work, you can throw a CD into your optical drive and drag the music right into your Pro Tools session just like this, and you have instant background music. So that's our look at the Workspace browser. I'm Mike Clark. Thanks for joining me today. Experiment, have some fun with it. Make sure you visit ProRecordingWorkshop.com for all things recording. I'll see you next time.